I'd like to call the Richmond Parks and Recreation Board to order, and I'll now read the mission statement. The Richmond Parks and Recreation Department provides for the positive development and well-being of the Richmond community through the provision of parks, greenways, trails, and recreational programming and facilities while working in cooperation with other service providers and partners in the community to maximize all available resources. Is there any special guests today? Then I will move on to the approval of minutes from June 13th. Have folks have a chance to review those? If so, I will entertain a motion for approval.
So moved.
It's been moved
Second.
and second for the approval of the June 13th minutes. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. On to Denise's report.
There's just a few things I wanted to update the board on, just so you're aware, in case anything were to come up on the street, then you knew what was happening. A few things that are going on that are very exciting for the Parks Department, and you guys should be very interested in. There's a concept paper here that I put on, linked so that you could read if you haven't read yet. This is through the foundation. They entered this concept paper through the Lily Gift Date. If you haven't heard about Lily Gift Date, this is something that is directly related to the gorge in our Phase 3 projects. So we're very excited that we were chosen as one of the recipients of Lily Gift Date, if this is something that continues to move forward. And this concept paper really shows a little bit of what would happen and how we would engage with Lily in that. So this is only the first step in that process. The foundation is going through some engagement processes right now. They've been to the farmers market, they were at the fireworks, and so they're working with our community to see the kind of the next steps with some community engagement. Then they're going to be going through a full submission process with Lily. I was on the call with Lily to discuss the next steps that they would like to see after the concept paper. I believe that there are, I want to say maybe 30 finalists in the state of Indiana, and so don't quote me on that, but we are excited to be one of those finalists and to the next level. So the other project that would be considered would be the performance lawn at Craig's Park. So that's very exciting, and
Can you shut that door for me? Becky, can you shut that door for me?
and so that's very exciting that these projects are something that the county can be excited about, that these are happening to do some quality of life initiatives in the city and continue the efforts that Revitalize Richmond is bringing to the community as well. So excited about that. I want to make sure that you're aware that we're working with the Wayne County Foundation on that and their consultants and also our consultants. The other thing I wanted to make sure that you were aware is that we are working with the administration on some funding for some park emergency funds. And so those are funds that we have some needs currently that the parks are working through. And some of those items are, of course, you've seen the pond fountain is down again. And so, we're working through some of that along with some state regulations for our splash pads have come in the middle of the year here. And so we need to be compliant with that. And including a UV system for this splash pad, as well as the system over at Elstra. We really need a timer on that system so it can go off, come back on, and we can keep that going strong over there. So a few things that are unbudgeted expenses that we just do not have the funds for mid-year, and really can't wait until next budget season. Some other areas for that park emergency fund that we've been requesting and the administration is going to be allocating, and we're going to council on Monday for in second reading, some cameras for Veterans Park. The cameras there at Veterans Park went down, and so they're in need for a complete overhaul there. There's a few things at Highland that we've been working through. I think you guys know some of those. The AC unit went down, working through that. We're working with the sanitation on the levee. I think we've told you about that before, the levee and the pipe that has some erosion issues. Sanitation has an option they're working with Miller Pipeline to come in and do some sewer lining. So while they're in town, we're hoping to get them to line this levee. And we estimate that at about $10,000. There's some pump needs. We've talked to you about Highland's pump needs, making sure that we have all of the pumps operating for our irrigation needs. And so there's some funding there that we're looking at. The backflow preventer at the pool, that's just something that we can't do without. That was $1,800. And then our AC unit at Glen Miller, we were able to recharge it for now, but we'll actually need to redo that before the winter hits. We had Don's cabin broken in again, and so we asked for cameras to be installed at Roosevelt Hill. And we've been having some issues with some people sleeping in certain areas, and so some cameras for security would be helpful over there at Roosevelt Hill in that area. And then, of course, the Clear Creek fencing. We've tried for several years to update the Clear Creek fencing. We had to reject that bid right here, where we didn't have the funds to do that. So this particular emergency fund amount would be supplementing what we have in our McBride account. So all in total, it is $102,000 and roughly $103,000. So administration will be helping us with those. So I just thought that was a very, very exciting thing that you should probably know about.
So is this part of the $300,000 that the mayor is trying to get from the council?
Correct.
There was an article online that I saw.
Yes.
Regarding,
And
this is the same,
this is the same thing, although the park is only requesting 100 of that.
100 of
And has that been passed?
The second reading is on Monday. And so we'll go to Finance Committee at 6. We go through all of these items I just went through with you, because I think it's important that you also know.
Thank you.
And so I've been busy getting quotes and all of that fun stuff for all these items, and just wanted to make sure that you are fully aware.
Anything else for Denise on her report?
And then Denise, you make your initial presentation to the administration tomorrow, is that correct?
I do. I will make my initial presentation on the budget tomorrow at 1 p.m. And we'll kind of go over a little bit of that this evening, but you'll have the budget as well to review. I don't expect any approvals this evening. It's just an introduction, but I think it's important that you take it as well this evening, and that was supported. The other thing I did want to just mention tonight at Board of Works, I think we've all talked about this at one or more occasions. Berryfield is going to Board of Works tonight for transfer. It's actually a purchase agreement that's going before Board of Works, and that purchase agreement would be transferring the opportunity to the Economic Development Corporation for potential to sell. The Economic Development Corporation would be our conduit in this transaction. And so this is just kind of that first step. So that conduit for the Economic Development Corporation, it would be in the sum of $1. So you'll see that in that transaction this evening, that Berryfield, if we transfer in that purchase agreement, it will be in the sum of $1. However, just note that if Berryfield is sold, it will be sold at appraisal value, and we will not have anything out of our pockets. That was the position that we are in at this time. So even though you see that it's going to the EDC for $1, that is just where we're at this certain time. Okay? That makes sense?
Yes. Has it been appraised yet?
Yes, it has.
Do you know what it appraised for?
Yes, $23,000.
That's right. I do remember that. Okay, thanks.
Yes. So we're just working through those options at this point, and I just wanted to make sure to update you on that. Any questions on that?
It's exciting too.
Yeah. These are options, just to remind the public, these are all things that were in our master plan. These are all things that we've been working through in that community-driven master plan. Any questions? Okay.
There's no questions, then we'll move on to the vision reports. Guess we have no financials, or?
So Emma's on vacation this week, and she's got family in town. I'm happy to answer any questions on any financials that you might have. Any questions?
Any questions on financials? Alright. Becky, I see that you're here. Is there any for the senior recreation center that you would like to share?
You're
Yes.
welcome to share.
I do.
Absolutely.
We made it through our changes and came out okay because May we lost our enhanced fitness and we started strong and steady. And it's very popular and I just left there and they were all busy being strong and steady. We did a Dementia Live training, which is awesome and I hope everybody here will do it. It isn't to show you how you would have dementia, but it teaches empathy. So when you think of someone with it, you'll have a greater understanding. And then we'll have a dementia information meeting, which will be the end of this month, that people are invited to, and you're certainly welcome to come. And it's on the 31st. I think the 31st is the last day of the month, so that's Wednesday. And it kind of, we have people like, if I was reading my report, and you see me doing okay, and then I turn it over, and it looks like I'm still reading my report, and out of the goodness of your hearts, you want to kind of say, come on, babe, turn this over, it will help you. There's nothing wrong with the goodness of your heart wanting to do that, but if I'm okay reading my report this way and I'm not in any duress or anything, then it's give yourselves permission to say, you know, I'll wait and address that later, because you don't create an energy of sort of, uh-oh, now I'm doing something wrong, so now I'm going to react, and then you're going to react, and pretty soon we have a whole lightning storm of energy. So it's more a training to give us awareness and give ourselves permission to be okay when somebody doesn't need an intervention at that moment. They're not in danger, they're not doing anything. And so what if they read their bingo card upside down or something? Who cares if they're having fun? So it's a permission thing, and it's a really good training. We did a live one where you wear this gear and everybody failed, which was great because that was the whole intent. That was the intent, and they found out we all talked to ourselves out loud. So I'm not sure how they went away wondering about us, but we do that. So that was good. We're still walking steps. We almost have 1 million, which I'm very excited because I have a letter to go to Bomba Socks because by gosh, we're going to get some socks, I think. And we decided to up our thing. We have now left Mount Everest and Kilimanjaro, and we're doing the Appalachian Trail. So that just went up, and people are going to go through all 14 states as they walk through. So we'll be over 1 million. But yeah, we're going to hope to write a letter to Bomba Socks and say, hey, you should donate to us seniors. We got 1 million steps in. So, and that's just steps in the senior center. That's not out in the community. That's literally just when you walk in the door, whatever you're doing. Our blueprint for health and our growing green are still tremendously attended. They're huge. We had a great June yesterday. We had a sampling of food. We're doing stuff with the farmers market. Hannah's not here, but we did a really cool thing earlier this week on a Tuesday night because people don't often go to Elster Park. It's not like it's too far away or anything, but it's like, well, where is that? Well, it's across from the library. Well, where do you park? It's right there. So we went hands-on to see, and it was a really good thing. And we've got lots of good stuff coming up, and we're just shy of 200 new members for the past year. So I'm excited about that, and pretty much have any questions or anything?
That was great.
You are definitely welcome to come anytime and peek in, especially on our Wellness Wednesdays. And there's food going forward, like on the 24th, I believe, everybody is bringing a vegetable something to share, because we've all been learning about vegetables and new vegetables. The air frying is starting again in August, and that's really good, so.
What are those dates?
The August dates for air frying, it's the second Friday of every month. We'll do air frying at 2 o'clock. And, well, we can change a special one for you.
Because I'm in school, so.
Well, we can do it later or do it earlier. I mean, honestly, it's very fun. And we have recipes for it, so.
All right.
Yeah,
Thank you.
thank you.
All right. Moving on to board concerns, comments. Is there any? Okay. Delegation correspondence, anything to share there?
I just have these for your review and your information. I did want to make sure that you did see that I co-wrote a letter of support for the historical marker down at the Jeanette site. I think this is really exciting. There's someone who's taking the initiative to do this, and as a part of a class. And so Mary Walker and I supported this wholeheartedly, and we are funding this historical marker. We will install that as a part of this funding. The Wayne County Convention and Tourism Bureau will half this amount, and we'll pay for the remainder, $1,600 on our end and $1,600 on the tourism's end. We will install it if we are selected to have the historical marker, but this is something that I believe we deserve, and I think that it's a no-brainer that we can have a Jeanette historical marker right down there at the Star Jeanette site. So I'm really excited about this, and I wanted to show you that letter of support. That Dementia Live training is a certificate that I received. It was Donna, Melanie, and Becky and myself that went through the training. It was very eye-opening. I think it's really important to have that at the center. At least the team that is there on a regular basis, I think it's very important that they went through that training. So we're partnering with Livestream on that, and so that was really great. I did want to highlight the fact that we have applied again for a STAM Coastline grant, and this was one of the things that we submitted was thoughts from a site leader, and so I think that was something that you guys should read as well, and so I put that in there for you.
Thank you. I see no old business, so we'll move on to new business. First up is the approval of the MOU between county and city regarding Gorge Bridge work.
Yes, so this is something that AJ and the county's legal counsel have been working on to draft. This is regarding the bridge work that needs to be done, and it will be the areas that hit any area in the gorge and the bridges that are adjacent to the gorge. So this is just stating that we understand and realize there's bridge work to be done in the gorge during the time that we are doing work also in the gorge through the 5 years of planning and implementing our work. They will also be doing bridge work, and this will go on file not only with the county but also on file with our Land and Water Conservation Fund. So this is important to have this MOU on file, that we have a joint partnership in this regard, and that we are okay with the work that is being done on the bridges and around the bridges. We've allowed enough buffer in our mapping through the Land and Water Conservation Fund that this is exactly what we need to do at this point. So we've had guidance from the DNR to not have any issue with our funding. So this is the next step.
Okay, heard any questions or comments regarding this MOU?
No, makes sense.
If not, I'll entertain a motion for approval.
So moved.
Second?
It's been moved and seconded for the approval of the MOU between county and city regarding Gorge Bridge work. All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed? Motion carries. On to the introduction of park budgets.
These are going to look a little different than what you're these two. Just because it's going to change. So I didn't want to give you things that, are going to be permanent or, until it's down the road a little bit, I want to make sure that you have something that's a little easier to read. Does that make sense? So what you see here on the top in the mostly white is just basically a simple budget summary by fund. And the first couple pages that are stapled together on the top you're gonna see the 2204, which is the Park General Fund. You have to realize that there are no property taxes that are allotted here. They do not put those in at this time until we even have those at all. We don't even know what those are at this point. So at the 364,900 is just an estimate of the revenues that we're going to even get at the Parks Department level. Then you turn it over, and this is everything that we are requesting right now that we might need for the park, and that total expenditure is highlighted here. So then you see a net value in red, okay? So that, I highlighted a couple things here for you to see, and we can go through them a little bit more. But the big items on the line item 4421 and 4490, we were asked to budget for equipment that we need.
Can we run on these? I'm assuming this is our
Ask
copies.
these are
Okay.
equipment that we need and any infrastructure that we need. Okay, and so that's why
Sorry, the 21.
Where is
the
it?
equipment?
the 40 you'll see in the next budget. All right.
Okay.
So the next pieces of paper are going to be completely noted for you.
Okay.
So that's why I'm doing, this is a simplified version and everything else has notes on it for you. Okay, so I just want to make sure that I highlight for you now that I've highlighted these two areas for a reason. Okay, and then the next one that you see is on the back page, because everything has a back, is the 2211. And that is golf. Okay, and that's by fund. Then the next page you see is the 2415, which is WPS by fund. And the next one, since there's only 4 now, we do not have McBride, so it's kind of condensed, is the 2416, which is the farmer's market. Okay? And then you will go to the next section, which looks like this, okay? So when you go to this section, it's all stapled for you. And these have notes. So the blue are your notes under each and every line item, which should kind of describe what that is about and why we budget in that fashion. And if you have any questions on those, write those beside that and I will try to answer why, okay? So I highlighted these taxes right here, right? In 2024, you see what taxes we received. That should show you this is what we received in 2024. And you can see in 2024, the activity, this is all we've received so far. We do not have our second installment, okay? And, maybe we did get our second installment, sorry. And then 2025, I've highlighted this to show that, yeah, no, I'm right. We don't have our second installment, but the final budget shows what we've budgeted. In 2025, the requested budget is not here. That's why I highlighted that, okay? That's why it's gonna show a big difference of numbers. Until we know what we're gonna get in our tax budget, then we're not gonna know what we're gonna budget for. Does that all make sense? Okay, so when you go down through this, I've made so many notes on this, they make sense in my head. They may not make sense in your head, or you may need some more information, and that's fine. Just write on this piece of paper so that I can help you to understand. It goes through the same way that the budget by fund does. So you have the park fund, then you have the golf fund, and then you have the WPS fund, and then you have the market fund. All information is on here, and then when you go down and you see the equipment listed on that highlighted area, you see the infrastructure, you see the equipment needs, all that is listed here, okay? So if it has been budgeted, it should have a number beside it. Okay? And additionally, any salaries or wages should have information beside it as well in the blue. It's going to take some kind of looking through to kind of start understanding it in this way. But this is directly from BSNA. So hopefully it helps. This is the way council's going to see it. This is the way it'll be presented.
So the 200,000 and 4421 for infrastructure.
Yes,
I see everything in there. Is
it is.
that 200 an
Just-
increase over last year? Like,
That
was
is-
that not
yeah.
budgeted last year?
That was not budgeted last year. We did not budget for one capital expense last year. We were not, we weren't allowed to budget for any capital expenses. And I'm not to say that we're gonna be able to budget for any capital expenses this year either, okay?
Sure.
But this is kind of, I don't wanna call it a wish list because we need these items.
Sure.
But the $200,000 for infrastructure is a pole barn at the maintenance complex. Right now, we have a ton of equipment sitting outside. It's an issue. It's so we need to protect that equipment. We need to protect that fleet, and we need a common area for the things that we have. So that would be why the pole barn is in there.
And so when you say capital expenses, that's all the 4,000?
Correct. 4,000 is our capital expense. And I tried to separate, on the park fund, I tried to separate it by 1,000s, 2,000s, 3,000s, and 4,000s, so you could see them on different pages.
And so what's the 4490, the 519, 635?
Yes, so that you can see the 4490 and all the other equipment, they're laid out. You've got a front deck mower at $42,000 times 2.
Where is that? That's for golf?
No, on your 4490 on the blue sheet, everything is laid out for you on what has been requested.
I just gotta find it.
Yeah.
Go to the very back. Not that.
Not that bad.
One more. There you go. Sorry.
So a front deck mower, $42,000 times 2, and then it goes into a zero-turn mower, $25,000 times 2. These are all for equipment replacement and fleet replacement needs. The truck 4x4 with plows, tilt trailers for replacement of the ditch witch. Our ditch witches are not safe any longer. Our trailers, we need to replace those as soon as possible. Our diving board, it broke last year, so we don't have it on, obviously, and so we need to either replace it or find something comparable. The janitor van, right now, they have a vehicle that needs to be replaced. So it's just, I mean, we could go on and on about the reasons why we need all of these, but we have done a replacement plan, reviewed all of our fleet, reviewed all of our equipment with our mechanic, and so that's where we're at on that. We reviewed every mower we have, reviewed every piece of fleet that we have, and this is what is necessary for replacement at this time. Of course, we're not going to be able to replace every single bit of this, but this is what So,
When do the tax estimations go in?
I'm told that we should know something by the end of July. And then I'm not sure necessarily how soon they can divvy that up either, so.
So, last year, from property taxes, we got 3.715. Reading this right.
And then you just need to see if it's gonna stay at 3.7 or maybe hopefully go up. We also have,
Hopefully go up.
Yeah.
Because
hopefully, but we also have, union raises, that are contractually obligated,
is that budgeted in this?
yes. Currently, it's budgeted.
So if we're anticipating, sorry, I'm working this out in my head, but out loud. If we're anticipating to bring in about 364,000 from non-tax revenue, okay,
Which is more than we've ever brought in.
we would need at least 3.4 in taxes. Am I understanding this right?
To break even.
To break even.
And that's not gonna get us to a point that obviously.
But it would still cover that capital expenses that we
Correct.
which is less than last year, so hopefully that'll work out.
We'll see.
Okay.
So I will say that this is definitely easier to understand.
Good,
And I also appreciate that.
okay.
So at this point, you just want us to review this?
I do. I'd like for you to review it, take notes on my notes, whatever, add comments, add recommendations, add, yes, this sounds like a great idea, I would like to see this in a couple years. This might not necessarily be a good idea right now, but, obviously review and make notes of concern, make notes of compliment, whatever you'd like.
So just to clarify from earlier, the 103 that you're asking, this is separate from what's in here.
The $100,000 that is
Yeah.
coming would be, we'd be able to have it by after Monday.
We could use that in this budget.
Correct.
Okay.
That is unbudgeted expenses and we would be able to use it in 2024.
Okay.
And then this budget is what we are requesting for 2025.
So when would you like feedback?
I think that any feedback at any time is important, so you can give me feedback at any time. We can sit and talk about the budget at any time, but I think we would want to maybe either schedule a work session, if that's something that the board would see that would be needed, or come back with information again at next board meeting, if that's what you'd like to do. And there might be additional information after Friday's meeting tomorrow with the administration as well. And remember that council oversees the 2204, and then the rest of the budgets are yours to oversee.
Can't believe I don't know this. Timeline-wise, by when do we need to approve the non-reverting funds?
So your budget calendar, there's a budget meeting schedule I think I put on there. But I am not sure if they gave us an actual timeline, but I'll get that. I believe we have to have everything in the DGLF by September. And it needs to be, we have a committee as a whole usually in August.
Yeah.
So I think it's important that we at least have an understanding of the funds that you oversee by August. I think it's important because I do think council appreciates your feedback, but I also think they appreciate the fact that you've approved the non-emergent budgets when I go to committee as a whole.
So it sounds like if folks are able to get through this, have questions for you, we should be ready to go in August, what it sounds like.
So we're gonna have a more in-depth discussion on our next meeting
We can,
about the
we
non-reverse.
can do that, unless we want to schedule a work session.
Good either way.
Let's plan for August for now, unless something changes, so that, yeah, we gotta get Mike's feedback too on this as well. But let's say August for now, we'll just have a more in-depth meeting.
Sounds good?
Maybe we could, unless something comes up, forego the administration and division reports
Yeah.
to save
And
time.
just have this.
Okay.
Just do
And
that.
then if there's anything that comes up during your review and you have any questions, shoot me an email, a text, phone call, and I'll be happy to answer anything. Okay.
Thanks, guys.
Is there any other business for today? If not, I will entertain a motion for adjournment.
So moved.
Second.
Been moved and second to adjourn. All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed? We are adjourned. Thank you.